Welcome to the Saturday edition of the Fbx Evening News. Today is September 7th, 2013. I'm Holly Seiler, leading our news tonight. An 80-year sentence was handed down yesterday for a Fairbanks man convicted of brutally beating a 2-year-old boy to death. News Center 11's Nikki Carvajal has more on this story.
Testimony was graphic.
Now, you testified about a gaping fracture. When you say gaping, does that mean it's the skull is separated?
Yes, the two opposing portions of the skull which had a fracture.
As medical professionals testified to the intensity of the injuries that 2-year-old Jacob Williams received.
When Jacob was initially brought in, the emergency room staff was very concerned. The injuries that were noted initially were very concerning for abuse. They were obviously to the ER staff, not injuries that we usually see in accidents or non-traumatic injuries.
The defense attorney called his own experts to give some kind of explanation to this horrific crime.
I think the closest I can come to, I sort of wrap my brains to trying to understand, well, why would this happen? Because it's a fairly mild-mannered man and no previous history of this. And the closest you can come to something like what's called the dissociative rage state, where you get in this, you get in a state of rage. It's not blind rage, is another way to describe it. I think Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was another part of it, as sort of a part of the personality that's very dark and shadowy and we're all capable of. I also think that probably from witnessing the violence and from sort of brain issues because of prenatal things, there's some sort of dissociative thing that happens here.
Prosecuting attorneys, however, disagreed.
It makes us feel safer if we can categorize and say this happened because of this, and if we just avoid this can't happen again. But as the court can hear from the evidence and the testimony, there really isn't, how are we ever going to come up with a true why? Certainly not in this case.
Carl David Jr. will now be eligible for parole in over 20 years.
Or he'll still have parole eligibility. He still has a fair chance of getting out and being among other people again. Jacob doesn't have any of that. When thinking this through, I thought I couldn't help but think he didn't get all of those things. He didn't get to lose his first tooth, have his first day at school, have a girlfriend, go to prom, get a job, any of those things.
Nikki Carvajal, News Center 11.
A 23-year-old man has pleaded guilty to assault and theft after a shooting in South Fairbanks. Jeremy Ryan Brockman is accused of firing a pistol at a truck that had 2 people in it. State troopers responded to the call at about 5:30 a.m. Sunday. The victim told troopers he had been mudding when Brockman started yelling at him for almost running Brockman over. Brockman allegedly got a friend to drive after the victim and fired at the victim's truck. Due to a plea deal, weapons misconduct charges were dropped and Brockman was sentenced to time served. 2 researchers and their pilot have been rescued from a remote Alaska volcano after freezing rain left thick ice on their helicopter. The rescue came at about 5 p.m. on Friday. None of the 3 people were injured, but the helicopter remains on Mount McGeek, about 280 miles southwest of Anchorage, a Katmai National Park and Preserve. The 3 people stranded were well equipped with survival gear and food. They remained in the helicopter until they were rescued. The researchers were working on a recovering short-term volcano monitoring equipment before they were caught in the freezing rainstorm Wednesday evening. A woman accused of laundering money for drug dealers in Fairbanks has been acquitted of all charges. 26-year-old Misty Cohnfell had been accused of hiding drug money transactions while she was a teller at Wells Fargo Bank. A jury acquitted her Thursday after a 2-day trial. Cohnfell was indicted under her maiden name of Misty McDonald. Community members showed up to grill the candidates at the annual Interior Taxpayers Association Candidates Forum. The forum gives Fairbanksans a chance to speak with candidates one-on-one about the topics that matter to them. Candidates were given a 1-minute opening statement, and then all other questions and topics came directly from the audience. Invited to the event were candidates for the municipal election on October 1st. This is just one of the many upcoming events where the candidates will face off before the election. Difficulties waking up your teenager for school is normal, according to sleep researchers, and they say high school students perform better when their first class is later in the morning. The U.S. Secretary of Education says he agrees with their conclusions, but the final decision about high school start times should be decided by local school districts. Here in Alaska, the president of the Alaska Sleep Clinic is circulating a petition to change high school start times. He says adolescents have a different sleep schedule than children and adults because hormones keep them up later. Research shows teens become tired around 11 p.m. and should sleep until about 8 a.m. A link to this petition can be found on our website, webcenter11.com.
If our real focus is on education, we should make sure our kids are at their prime attention and focus abilities as far as, getting good sleep. So if our kids are already impaired, we're doing a disservice to our children and to the future too as well.
We'll have more on emerging sleep research for teens this week in our Health Minute. But when we come back, another downtown facelift was unveiled during First Friday festivities, and the first-year private pilot program takes off. We'll have those stories and much more when the weekend's only local televised newscast returns. Stay with us. Welcome back. The second project for Art in the Heart was unveiled Friday in the downtown area of Fairbanks. A series of vacant spaces have now had a somewhat facelift thanks to local digital artwork printed on vinyl wraps. All artwork has been centered around the theme of edge, a word that can be both abstract and literal. David Vandenberg, executive director of the Downtown Association of Fairbanks, took some time to speak with the News Center about the project and had to say this about the newest project.
These installations are in available commercial space, and so it's an opportunity for the duration of this project to kind of recast that space, make it stand out a bit, and create interest in those spaces, and perhaps some would-be tenants will see opportunity there.
In partnership with ProFlight and the Medallion Foundation, the Barrow School District has developed curriculum for the first private pilot training program. The need for pilots in Alaska prompted organizers to start the program just 3 weeks ago. 8 students have entered the training, 2 males and 6 females. They not only will learn to navigate a private aircraft, but they will also receive training on maintenance work to help in the event of an emergency while flying. Eric Gebhardt, Nenana's school superintendent, spoke with the News Center about the emphasis on building up young adults in rural Alaskan communities.
One of the reasons they come to the Nenana Student Living Center is to get what they need so that they can actually go back to their communities and contribute economically and also have a economic means to be there and to live there. So so I think it's going to be a really good thing.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is directing another $750,000 to Alaska's efforts to clean up debris from the 2011 Fukushima earthquake and tsunami. The money comes from the $5 million the Japanese government provided to help in response to impacts from the tsunami. Alaska U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski welcomed the news. She said Alaska has more shoreline than the rest of the country combined, causing the state to have to deal with a disproportionate amount of debris. Murkowski had been pushing the Senate Appropriations Committee for more funding to deal with the problem. Earlier this year, Alaska Airlines made the announcement that they would be replacing their current 737s that fly between Fairbanks and Anchorage with 3 new turboprops in March of 2014. This change has received mixed reviews, as many are wondering what will happen when sub-zero temperatures will force passengers to walk to the airplanes. Marilyn Romano, Regional Vice President for Alaska Airlines, addressed this question while making a presentation earlier this week at the Downtown Rotary Association meeting.
These are state-of-the-art airplanes. This is cutting-edge technology. These planes that will be coming up here, the 3 airplanes that will be based here in Alaska, are state-of-the-art. They burn about 30 to 40% less fuel. They emit much less in the emissions levels that they emit. So it's a greener airplane. It's better for the environment. I think in probably the next 30 to 45 days, you'll be hearing from me as I explain exactly how we're going to handle the boarding process. But we understand that people are concerned, particularly when it's going to be at 40 below. I know, I lived here for 20 years, and we're going to address that. We're going to come up with a solution, and we're going to be able to share that probably very soon.
In sports, we have some highlights from Friday Night Lights. Interior high school football teams getting wins last night. Also, a special story on building a team courtesy of Fort Wainwright Soldiers and the Alaska Nanooks. Joe Cook is up next. Stick around.
Hello, Interior sports fans. Joe Cook here in the sports seat, filling in for Fred Brown with your Saturday sports. Now, last night at Lathrop Stadium, number 3 Lathrop hosted number 5 Wasilla in what turned out to be a high-scoring affair. Let's go under the lights and into the third quarter. Lathrop is ahead 21-14, but Chris Seminario, he punches it in from 4 yards out. 28-14 Lathrop. He had 155 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Malamutes turned out 359 rushing yards and 4 TDs after Wasilla scores 28-20 late in the third. And Robert Tanner goes play action on the 3rd and 16 and throws it up to Derek O'Neal. Eyes on the ball, he takes it into the end zone. O'Neal says, yeah, that was just crazy. 35-20 Lathrop. Wasilla would respond with the Devin Otto touchdown, his 3rd of the night, but Curtis Martin blocks his 2nd extra point of the game late in the 4th. The Malamutes would tack on another score and win it 42-32, clinching its first playoff berth since 2004. They are 4-0 and have doubled their wins from 2012.
I think beating this Wasilla team tells us something. This is a really good team, probably the best team in the conference, you know, and just shows their class on both sides of the ball. They're both classy teams, very well coached. You know, a lot of character on that field tonight from both sides.
It's a good feeling, man. It's been so long since we've done it. It's a spark in our season, and you know, we got to keep it up all year. If we keep it up like this, we're gonna make something happen this year.
And congrats to Lathrop. On the west side, the Wolfpack got their first win of the season. Houston came to the Interior, but they were not welcomed with open arms at West Valley. Charles Sudduth links up with Elijah Connell, who goes down the sideline for a 55-yard touchdown. Sudduth had 2 TD passes and rushed for 2 more in the second quarter. Marquise McCray, he would scamper for a 46-yard touchdown, 13-0 West Valley. Houston would get on the board, and then after a good return by Devin Cooks, Cooks would follow up with a nice touchdown catch, 33 yards from Sudduth, and that would end the first half. West Valley was up 20-6 at that point, and the Wolfpack would go on to win 41-12. Also today, Owlson was at Barrow, and the Ravens win big 71-14 and improved to 3-1 on the year. Monroe plays at Valdez this evening. More on these games on Monday. Now, last night, the Nanook volleyball team had its home opener in the Flint Hills Resources Alaska Nanook Classic. The Lumberjacks of Humboldt State were the opponents. First set action here, the Nanooks had an 8-3 lead, but Humboldt State would humble the Nanooks as they went on a 6-1 run, going up 25-24 in that set. They had 5 ties and 2 lead changes. The Nanooks would prevail in that first set, 30-28, but the Lumberjacks would reel off 3 straight sets for the 3-1 win. The Nanooks faced Colorado Christian this afternoon and suffered the same fate in a 3-1 loss. Alaska is 0-6. The Nanooks take on number 12 Fresno Pacific at 7 tonight in the second game of their doubleheader. We'll have more on that game on Monday as well. At about 7:20 early this morning, the Nanook hockey team was on post at Fort Wainwright doing what some of our men and women in uniform do to prepare for battle. But what do tires and gas masks have to do with winning hockey games? Well, they explain.
Come on, boys! Push it, push it!
The success we've seen is it really does test them mentally and physically, and it also tests their leadership capabilities as well as the teamwork of the organization. They're really enhanced community relations that we have with the Nanooks as well as with the greater Fairbanks community.
Hi, we're going! 948. Come on, just to the gate!
I've seen military competitions like this in the past. They're very effective at helping small units gel into an organization that can work together on a constant basis.
1, 2, 3. Come on, fellas, almost there, Ace. Finish hard.
It's actually, I think it's unreal that we get the experience to see what they're up to and like how much training they actually go through to protect the country that they're in, and it's unbelievable.
Straight ahead for AJ. Heads up, Schwartz.
It's like mental. You just got to push yourself through it. You know you can do it, but it's just like you got to stay mentally tough, and that's what gets you through it. So.
Thanks, boys. Woo! Thanks, Rick, fellas. That's big cat.
It's really good because we depend on one another, and by going through hard stuff like that, it just brings us together, and it's only going to translate over to the ice. Gets us comfortable with each other, helps us battle. That's what we need on the ice to win.
Finally, the UAF cross-country team was up this morning as well. They ran the short course race against Montana State Billings and Seattle Pacific. The men were first into the fog. The Nanics had a solid showing, though. Isaac Lammers led the way for the second place Nanics with a top 5 finish in 12 minutes and 55 seconds. Max Olex and Michael Fehrenbach went 9th and 10th in 13:19 and 13:20. Robert Peterson led the field in 12:40 for MSUB. He also won Thursday's long course. The Yellow Jackets took it with 2 through 4. Those are the spots they won. For the women, Hannah Stevens was the first Nook to cross in 6th place at 15:51. Nicole Bath came in 15 seconds later for 7th place. Mia Anderson and Maddie Pfeiffer were 11th and 12th. Seattle Pacific would win on the legs of Michaela Fricker, who also won the long course on Thursday. MSUB was 2nd and UAF came in 3rd.
It's really solid to see everybody really close together. It's a really good thing. It means we've got a really tight team, really strong team, and one that we can really work with. So
we're all starting this together, and this is the first time for all of us, and it's really just like, you know, every race is just another milestone, and we're happy with it.
We definitely learned a lot. We can tell now what they came in with from their summer training and from these last couple of weeks of camp, and it's just really exciting to see where we're going to go from here.
And that's a wrap for sports. Thanks for rocking with me on a Saturday. For more sports, at KTVF11 Sports on Twitter. You can also go to YouTube and webcenter11.com. Your full weather forecast is coming up next, and we'll catch you next time. So why are you so excited?
Okay. Calm down. Okay. Calm down. Am I in the middle? Do you want to be in the middle?
Yes. Well, I'm going to be on the end.
You're going to be on the end? Okay.
You're going to be in the middle.
Okay. Calm down. Calm down. Okay, go. Okay, oh. Cool.
9:30.
Oh, I'm not going to have an IFB. I'm not going to know how long I have.
I'll just kind of.
Can you see AccuWeather?
No, we cannot. How do I see AccuWeather? Oh, thank you. Good Justice. Or Tommy, or whoever did that.
Can you plug
for me.
in on the other side?
Yes, I can. No, I can't.
Yes.
No, okay.
She's on my mic.
Okay.
She's on my mic. Which, well.
You want to put your
Oh,
shit
yes,
down?
I do.
Yeah, just turn them all up. We're all plugged in here. Scoot in here. Okay. So it's like
How much
a
time do we
little-
have?
Some shit in front of you.
Thank you.
This is like we're gonna like segue into this. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
say, since the young gun. Well, after you say something.
I'm going to try not to do like a silly
Yeah, I'm
laugh.
just going to introduce Nicole, and then maybe you can say something, and then she'll go into weather.
Okay. Oh, you're the one who's Nicole?
Yes, but
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
Nikki.
Sorry.
That's her station.
Wow.
15.
15 seconds. So we have a new weather girl on the Saturday desk, Nikki Carvajal. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Holly.
yes. I like this setup. It's the young guns out here.
The young guns.
So Nikki, how is the weather outside today?
Well, let's get right into it. Taking a look at the almanac, the normal high for today is 59 degrees. We're pretty close to that. We also have a normal low of 39 degrees. The record high was 77, set back in 1940, and the record low was 20 degrees, set in 1952. The sun rose today at 6:51 a.m., still coming up pretty early, and set at 8:46 p.m., which gives us 13 hours and 55 minutes of daylight, and that's a loss of 6 minutes from yesterday. Very cloudy day around the state today. Up north, Barrow seeing highs of 41 degrees. Across the interior, we saw highs in the mid-50s. Fairbanks and Denali Park coming in at 55, 1 degree cooler in Fort Yukon at 54. Further west, Nome seeing temps of 50 degrees, and in the southwest, Bethel and Cold Bay also seeing temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. Warming up as we move east, Anchorage coming in at 59 degrees, Juneau up in the 60s, and the bright spot of the state today, Ketchikan, coming in at 73 degrees with beautiful sunny skies. Moving on now to the lower 48. Sunny skies in Seattle with highs in the mid-70s. A really nice day for them today. San Francisco, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, they all saw high temperatures in the upper 80s. In the south today, hot in Phoenix and Dallas. Arizona seeing those temps in the low 90s, while it was close to 100 degrees in parts of Texas today. Right around 90 degrees from New Orleans to Atlanta. Miami seeing a few thunderstorms throughout the day. Taking a look at the East Coast, temperatures of right around 80 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Coming back home here in Fairbanks, we're expecting a chance of rain tonight with some light winds. Low staying pretty consistent with what we've seen at 43 degrees. Tomorrow, a lot more of the same, highs of 57 with that wind and chance of rain continuing. And then taking a look at next week, we'll see highs in the mid-50s to 60s through Friday. Low staying above freezing in the mid-40s, and the cloudy conditions we've been seeing lately are going to continue at least until we see you back here next Saturday evening.
All right. Sounds pretty good.
Not too bad.
I'll take it. What other choice do I have? That's going to wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're really glad you could join us.
You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.